The last person to leave after Dad's funeral was the first to try stealing his company. I watched Uncle Nolan's Mercedes pull away from the cemetery, his taillights bleeding red through the morning fog. He'd waited until the other mourners dispersed, then cornered me beside Dad's fresh grave with his practiced concerned expression. "Jillian, sweetheart," he'd said, resting his manicured hand on my shoulder. "Let the men handle the company transition. You've been through enough. I'm Jillian Hayes, and at 28 years old, I was apparently too grief-stricken and female to inherit my father's legacy. At least, that's what Uncle Nolan thought. There's an emergency board meeting tomorrow," he continued, checking his Rolex. "The company needs stable leadership now. Your father—" He paused for dramatic effect. Well, Richard wasn't exactly leaving things in the best shape. I nodded mutely, clutching the bouquet of white lilies I'd brought. Dad had always hated lilies. "Thanks for looking out for me, Uncle Nolan," I whispered. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Of course, dear. Family first. Family first." The same words Dad had used during our last conversation, 3 days before the heart attack. We'd been in his home office, and he'd seemed unusually agitated. "Remember Jilly Bean?" he'd said, using my childhood nickname. "Trust no one, not even blood." He'd been organizing papers in his desk drawer, the one he always kept locked. "Dad, you're scaring me," I'd told him. "Maybe you should rest?" He'd grabbed my hand then, his grip surprisingly strong. "Promise me you'll fight for what's yours. Promise me you won't let them take it." Now, standing in that same office, I ran my fingers along the smooth wood of his desk. The drawer was still locked, but I had the key, found it this morning in his bedside table, wrapped in a post-it note with my name. The lock clicked open. Inside, beneath stacks of old correspondence and company reports, lay a sealed manila envelope. My hands trembled as I read the label. "If the worst happens." My phone buzzed. A text from Harmony, Dad's business partner and my godmother. "Nolan's calling an emergency vote tomorrow. Says the company's in crisis. Call me ASAP." I stared at the envelope, heart pounding. Dad had known something was coming. He'd prepared for it. Another text lit up my screen. This time from Anthony, the new CEO Nolan had appointed last month. "My condolences, Jillian. Your uncle mentioned you might need time away from the office. Take all the space you need." Space. They wanted to give me space. How convenient. I broke the envelope's seal, hands steady now. Inside was a single document, dated 3 months ago. As I read, a laugh bubbled up from my chest. Hollow and sharp, like broken glass. "Oh, Uncle Nolan," I whispered to the empty room. "You really should have been nicer to your grieving niece." My phone buzzed again. "Nolan. Board meeting tomorrow 9 a.m. Don't worry about attending. We'll handle everything." I set the document down on Dad's desk, next to the framed photo of us at my college graduation. In it, he's beaming with pride, his arm around my shoulders. The same shoulders Uncle Nolan had patronizingly patted at the funeral. "Sorry, Dad," I said to his smiling image. "I know you always taught me forgiveness is strength, but I don't think I can forgive this." I texted Nolan back. "Thanks for handling everything, Uncle. You're right. I need space to grieve." Then I took a photo of the document and sent it to Harmony with 2 words. "Call me. Let them think I'm broken. Let them think I'm hiding in my grief. They'll learn soon enough what Dad's little girl is capable of. After all, he didn't raise me to be weak. He raised me to be ready." Harmony burst through my front door an hour later, her usually perfect hair disheveled. "Tell me you have the original," she demanded, barely pausing to kick off her heels. I held up the document. "Majority shareholder. Dad transferred everything to me 3 months ago." She snatched it, scanning quickly. "It's legitimate, notarized, witnessed, airtight." Her shoulders sagged with relief. Thank God Richard wasn't as naive as Nolan thought. "What do you mean?" Harmony paced my living room, her stockinged feet silent on the hardwood. "Your uncle's been cooking the books for years. Richard knew. He just couldn't prove it fast enough." "Fast enough for what?" She stopped, facing me. "For the treatments, Jillian. The experimental ones that might have saved him. The room tilted. I gripped the back of my couch. What treatments? There was a trial in Switzerland. Cutting-edge heart therapy. Richard qualified. But she swallowed hard. The company's emergency medical fund had been mysteriously drained. Your uncle controlled access. My voice came out strangled. Are you saying Nolan killed my father? I'm saying he made sure Richard couldn't access life-saving treatment. Made it look like bad timing, budget constraints. Her eyes hardened. Your father wasn't just sick, Jillian. He was being slowly pushed out. My phone buzzed. Another text from Anthony. Meeting moved to 8 a.m. Nolan insists we start early. They're scrambling, Harmony said, reading over my shoulder. They know something's wrong, but can't figure out what. I showed her my response to Nolan. Still too upset to attend. Please handle everything. She nodded approvingly. Perfect. Let them think you're broken. Meanwhile, we need to talk to Amara. My friend the hacker. Why? Because Richard left a trail. Bank records, transfers, shell companies. He just needed someone skilled enough to connect the dots. She gripped my shoulders. Your father knew he was running out of time. That's why he made you majority shareholder in secret. My phone rang. Daniel, my ex. I declined the call. He'll keep calling, Harmony warned. Nolan probably hired him already. Daniel's the best corporate attorney in the city. And the biggest sellout, I muttered. Use that. Let him think he's manipulating you. Men like Daniel and Nolan, they underestimate women who show pain. She smiled grimly. Your father taught me that lesson years ago. Another text from Anthony. Your uncle suggests grief counseling. He knows an excellent therapist. I laughed bitterly. They're not even subtle about it. No need to be when you think you're untouchable. Harmony pulled out her phone. I'm calling Amara. We need those records before tomorrow's meeting. I'm not going to that meeting. Of course not. You're going to let them hang themselves first. She dialed, then paused. Jillian, you understand what this means, right? Once we start, there's no going back. Nolan won't just lose the company. He'll lose everything. I walked to my window, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Uncle Nolan was probably celebrating his imminent victory with expensive scotch. Dad used to say business isn't personal, I said quietly. But this is very personal. Then let's make it count. Harmony's phone connected. Amara, it's time. Bring everything you have on Hayes Tech's emergency fund transfers from the last year. Focus on Swiss bank accounts. I picked up the photo of Dad from his desk. The one from my graduation. We looked so happy, so unaware of what was coming. I'm sorry, Dad, I whispered. I know you wanted me to be better than them. But sometimes better means stronger. My phone buzzed one final time. Nolan, don't worry about a thing, sweetheart. Your father's legacy is in good hands. I texted back, thank you, Uncle Nolan. I trust you completely. The biggest lie I'd ever told. And tomorrow it would start destroying him. I walked into Hayes Tech at exactly 10:43 a.m., wearing my father's favorite blue blazer over a black dress. The security guard did a double take. I hadn't been here since before Dad's death. Just clearing out Dad's office, I said, forcing my voice to crack slightly. The guard's face softened with sympathy as he handed me a visitor's badge. Uncle Nolan's secretary spotted me first. Oh, Miss Jillian. She scrambled to intercept me. Your uncle's in a meeting. That's fine. I sniffled, dabbing at my eyes. I need some time with Dad's things. The elevator dinged, and Nolan himself stepped out, followed by Anthony and several board members. He froze mid-sentence when he saw me. Jillian, what a surprise. His smile was strained. We missed you at this morning's meeting. Sorry, I whispered. I couldn't, it was too hard. I hugged myself, playing the part of the broken daughter. Of course, dear, he patted my shoulder. Though while you're here, we should discuss your position. The board feels, Miss Hayes, a sharp voice cut through. Esther Thompson, the longest-serving board member, approached us. Your father was a visionary. His death is a tremendous loss. I nodded, noting how Nolan's jaw clenched at the word visionary. Though perhaps, Esther continued, this isn't the best place for you right now. Grief can make us unstable. My phone buzzed. A text from Amara. Got it. Shell company traced to Anthony. Receipts showing deliberate loss reporting pre-funeral. Meeting in 20. You're right, I said, looking down. I'm not thinking clearly. Maybe I should go home. Excellent idea, Nolan said quickly. Take all the time you need, months even. The elevator dinged again. Daniel stepped out, his lawyer's suit impeccable as always. Our eyes met, and for a moment I saw genuine concern flash across his face. Jillian, he said softly. I've been trying to reach you. She's just leaving, Nolan cut in. Family matters. Actually, Daniel said, I need to speak with her regarding her father's estate. Nolan's smile tightened. I'm handling all legal matters. With all due respect, sir, that would be a conflict of interest. Daniel's tone was pure professional steel. Jillian needs independent counsel. I let my lower lip tremble. Maybe Daniel's right. Dad would want everything done properly. Nolan's face darkened for a split second before smoothing over. Of course, sweetheart, whatever you need. I followed Daniel to an empty conference room, feeling Nolan's eyes boring into my back. As soon as the door closed, Daniel's professional mask cracked. Jill, I'm so sorry about Richard. I should have called sooner. But Nolan called first, right? I kept my voice neutral. Offered you partner track to handle the transition. He flinched. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. I checked my watch. I have to go. Meeting someone. Wait. He grabbed my arm. There's something wrong with the company finances. Irregularities going back months. Nolan's pushing for a quick takeover, but what? You suddenly grew a conscience? His eyes narrowed. You're not as broken as you're pretending to be. I pulled away. No, Daniel, I'm exactly as broken as they made me. My phone buzzed again. Amara, holy shit. Found the Swiss bank records. You need to see this now. Thanks for the concern, I told Daniel, but I have all the legal counsel I need. I walked out, letting my shoulders slump as I passed Nolan's office. Through the glass walls, I saw him watching me, already on his phone, probably calling Daniel. Let them chase their own tails. Let them think they're so clever, so in control. In my car, I pulled out my phone and dialed Amara. What did you find? Not over the phone, she said. But Jill, your uncle didn't just deny your dad treatment. He actively blocked it. I have emails proving he knew exactly what he was doing. My hand tightened on the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Send everything to Harmony, I said. It's time to show the board exactly who they're working for. The next week, I made sure to cry during a budget meeting. Not obviously, just a quiet sniffle when Anthony presented Dad's last quarterly projections. Nolan practically glowed with satisfaction as he called for a brief recess. Perhaps this is too much for you, dear, he said, offering me his handkerchief. I dabbed my eyes. No, I want to understand. Dad would want me to learn. Behind him, Esther Thompson watched with narrowed eyes. She cornered me in the women's bathroom afterward. Stop embarrassing yourself, she snapped, applying fresh lipstick. If you want to honor your father, grow a spine. I stared at her reflection. Excuse me? I've spent 40 years watching women cry their way out of boardrooms. She turned to face me. I fought tooth and nail to get here, had to be twice as tough, twice as smart as any man, and now I have to watch Richard's daughter dissolve into tears. You don't know anything about me. I know you're playing some game. She stepped closer. The question is, are you smart enough to win it? My phone vibrated. Amara, got access to Anthony's private server, found audio files. Call me. Thank you for the advice, Mrs. Thompson, I said quietly. But I'm not playing games. I'm just trying to survive, she scoffed. Survival is for prey. Your father built an empire. What are you building? I left her there, mind racing. In the elevator, I called Amara. You need to hear this, she said without preamble. It's from 3 months ago, a conversation between Nolan and Anthony. She played the recording. Nolan's voice came through clearly. Richard's getting suspicious about the medication mix-up. Make sure the pharmacy records show it was a system error. Anthony, what if he pushes for an investigation? He won't live long enough. That bad batch I switched in did its job. His heart's failing faster than expected. My hands shook so hard, I nearly dropped the phone. Send it to Harmony, now. Already did, Jill. This is murder. No, I said. This is everything we needed. Back in my office, Dad's old office, which I'd insisted on using despite Nolan's protests, I pulled up the company's financial records. While they thought I was crying over memories, I'd been quietly tracking every transaction, every decision. Daniel appeared in my doorway. We need to talk. About how you're helping Nolan bury evidence. He closed the door. About how you're the majority shareholder. I kept my face neutral. What? Stop playing dumb. I found the transfer documents. He ran a hand through his hair. Nolan's planning to force you out at tomorrow's shareholder meeting. He's got the board convinced you're unstable. And whose side are you on? The winning side. He smiled slightly. Which is why I'm here. My phone buzzed again. Harmony. Audio file authenticated. Moving to phase 2. Why are you really here, Daniel? Because I remember how brilliant you were in law school. Because I've watched you play these people like fiddles. He leaned forward. Because I want to see Nolan's face when he realizes who he's been underestimating. You left me, I reminded him. Chose your career over us. And you chose revenge over grief. He stood. Tomorrow's meeting is at 9 a.m. Nolan's bringing security to escort you out when the vote's done. Don't be late. After he left, I texted Harmony back. Phase 2 confirmed. Send the dossiers to print. Time to show them what a woman's place really looks like. One last text came through. From Esther. Whatever you're planning, make it count. Some of us have waited decades to see men like Nolan fall. I looked at Dad's photo on my desk. Don't worry, I whispered. By tomorrow, they'll all know exactly what you built and exactly what I'm capable of destroying. The shareholder meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. I walked in at 9:47, wearing Dad's favorite power suit and carrying a stack of manila envelopes. Nolan was mid-speech about necessary leadership changes. Sorry I'm late, I announced, my voice carrying across the boardroom. Traffic was terrible. Nolan's face tightened. Jillian, we're in the middle of a vote to remove me, I smiled, setting the envelopes down. Please, don't let me interrupt. 2 security guards hovered by the door. Daniel sat near Nolan, his expression carefully blank. Harmony wasn't present, exactly as planned. As I was saying, Nolan continued, given recent emotional instability. Before we continue, I cut in. Shouldn't we confirm the shareholder count? Anthony cleared his throat. We have quorum. All major shareholders are present or represented. Are they? I pulled out the transfer document. Because according to this, I hold 51% of voting shares. Has been that way for 3 months. The room went deadly silent. Nolan's face turned an interesting shade of purple. That's impossible, he sputtered. Richard would never. Dad did a lot of things you didn't expect. I started distributing the envelopes. Like keeping records. 1 for each board member. Please, open them. Esther was the first to break the seal. Her sharp intake of breath made others quickly follow suit. These documents, Anthony began. They're not legal, financial, proof of embezzlement. I picked up the remote and clicked. The projector hummed to life, displaying transaction records. Every penny Nolan stole, every false report, every system error that mysteriously drained company funds. This is slander, Nolan growled. Security. Oh, wait. I clicked again. His voice filled the room. Richard's getting suspicious about the medication mix-up. The color drained from his face. Board members exchanged horrified glances. That recording is inadmissible, Daniel interjected. Lawyer mode engaged. In court, maybe, I shrugged. But we're not in court. were in a shareholder meeting, and as majority shareholder, I moved to remove Nolan Hayes from all positions, pending criminal investigation. You can't. Second, Esther called out, her voice ringing with satisfaction. All in favor? I asked. Hands rose slowly at first, then faster, as reality set in. Anthony, seeing the tide turn, raised his hand last. You ungrateful little bitch, Nolan snarled, lunging forward. After everything I've done, like killing my father. My voice could have frozen hell. Those Swiss treatments had an 87% success rate. But you couldn't let him live, could you? You have no proof. Check the last page in your folders, I told the board. Pharmacy records, banking transfers, emails discussing the medication mix-up. My father kept everything. Nolan grabbed his folder, ripping through pages. His hands shook. I didn't. Security, I said calmly. Please escort Mr. Hayes from the building. The FBI agents waiting in the lobby will take it from there. You'll regret this, he spat as the guards approached. You're nothing but a girl playing dress-up in daddy's clothes. I stepped closer, pitching my voice so only he could hear. No, Uncle Nolan, I'm the woman who just destroyed you, and I did it wearing his favorite suit. The doors opened. 2 FBI agents entered, badges displayed. Nolan Hayes, one said. We need you to come with us. The board watched in stunned silence as they led him out. Only Esther smiled, a fierce pride in her eyes. Well, Anthony said shakily, perhaps we should recess. No, I took my father's old seat at the head of the table. We have a company to fix, starting with a full audit of all accounts. Under whose authority? Someone asked. I smiled, feeling Dad's presence in every word. Under the authority of the majority shareholder and new CEO. Unless anyone else wants to check their folders for more surprises. The room stayed silent. Outside, I heard Nolan's shouts fade as the elevator doors closed on his empire and his nieces began. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of press releases, legal meetings, and damage control. I sat in Dad's office, watching news channels cycle through headlines about Nolan's arrest. Harmony handled most of the media circus, while I focused on steadying the company. You should see Twitter, Amara said, sprawled on my office couch with her laptop. You're trending. Revenge CEO is the top hashtag. A knock interrupted us. Anthony stood in the doorway, looking uncomfortable. Do you have a moment? She's busy, Amara said coldly. It's okay. I nodded for him to enter. What is it? He closed the door. I'm turning state's evidence against Nolan. Voluntary cooperation. How convenient, I said dryly. Nothing to do with those records I have on your shell company? I made mistakes. He straightened his tie. But I want to make this right. The company needs stability now. The company needs honesty. I pulled out a folder, like explaining these offshore transfers you approved last month. His face fell. How did you? Dad taught me to always keep receipts. I slid the folder across the desk. You have 1 hour to resign. Make it look natural. Cite family reasons, and I'll keep these private. You're just like him, you know, Anthony said quietly. Richard always knew where the bodies were buried. No, I corrected. Dad gave people chances. I'm just here to clean house. After he left, Amara whistled low. Brutal. I like it. My phone buzzed. Daniel. Need to talk. Your office? Speaking of cleaning house, I muttered. Give us a minute. Amara gathered her things, passing Daniel in the doorway. They exchanged cold looks. Quite a show yesterday, he said, closing the door. Did Nolan send you to negotiate? I'm not representing him anymore. Daniel sat down. The firm's distancing itself. Nobody wants to touch this case. Smart move. You planned this for months, didn't you? The crying, the weakness. It was all an act. I leaned back in Dad's chair. You taught me something valuable when you left, Daniel. Never let them see you coming. I deserved that. He rubbed his face. Look, I know I hurt you, but I'm here now, offering to help. The company needs strong legal representation during this transition. and you need a high-profile win to make partner. I stood up. The answer is no. Jill, it's Ms. Hayes now. I walked to the window. You chose your side 3 years ago. You don't get to switch teams just because I'm winning. A commotion outside made us both turn. Through the glass walls, I saw Esther marching toward my office, face grim. The board's calling an emergency session, she announced, entering without knocking. Anthony just resigned. There's panic about stability. Perfect timing, I said. I have files ready on 3 potential replacements, all vetted, all loyal. Esther's eyes gleamed with approval. You really did plan everything. Almost everything. I looked at Daniel. Some people still think they can play both sides. He stood slowly. They're right about one thing. The company needs stability. No, I corrected. It needs clarity. Everyone needs to know exactly where they stand. I turned to Esther. Call the board. It's time to show them our 5-year strategy. And me, Daniel asked, quietly. You can show yourself out. I believe you remember how. After they left, I pulled out Dad's old pocket watch, the one he always kept in his desk. Inside was a photo of us at my law school graduation, before Daniel, before Nolan's betrayal, before everything fell apart. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Nolan wants to deal, says he has more secrets you don't want exposed. I smiled, thinking of the final documents Amara had uncovered, the ones even Nolan didn't know about yet. No deals, I texted back. Tell him to enjoy the view from his cell. The show's just getting started. The federal agents arrived during the board meeting. I was mid-presentation about our new innovation lab when they appeared in the doorway, badges out. Perfect timing, I said, clicking to the next slide. Everyone, please welcome our friends from the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Nolan, who'd been allowed to attend under supervision to formally surrender his shares, went pale. What is this? This, I gestured to the screen showing complex financial diagrams, is every illegal transaction you've made in the past decade, including the ones you thought were untraceable. Impossible, he whispered. Those accounts were hidden, like the ones in the Cayman Islands. I smiled. Dad wasn't the only one keeping records. The lead agent stepped forward. Mr. Hayes, we have additional charges to discuss. You can't prove anything, Nolan snarled, but his hands were shaking. Actually, Amara spoke up from her corner, laptop open. We can prove everything. Want to see the blockchain trail of your crypto transfers? It's fascinating stuff. You're just like your father, Nolan spat at me. Always so righteous, so sure of everything. He was weak, and you're... Careful, I cut in. You're about to say something sexist, and I don't think that'll play well in court. The agents moved toward him. Nolan looked around wildly, seeking allies, finding none. This company was mine, he shouted. I deserved it. Richard was too soft, too focused on innovation instead of profit. He needed to go. The room went dead silent. Several board members gasped. Did you get that? I asked the agent nearest the door. He held up a small recorder. Every word. You set me up, Nolan realized. This whole meeting was recorded and witnessed by the board. I nodded to Esther, who was already signing an affidavit. A full confession. Dad would be proud. I'm nothing like my father, I continued, walking closer. He believed in second chances. He believed family meant something. I stopped in front of him. I don't forgive blood. The agents moved in, cuffs ready. Nolan lunged at me suddenly, eyes wild. But before anyone could react, I sidestepped, and he stumbled, falling hard. Assaulting a CEO during a federal arrest, I tisked. Not very smart, Uncle Nolan. As they let him out, he turned back one last time. You've become a viper, Jillian. This company will destroy you, just like it destroyed him. No, I said softly. I've become exactly what you created. How's that for karma? After he was gone, I faced the stunned board. Now, about that innovation lab. Dad always wanted to focus on medical technology. I think it's time we honored that vision. The Richard Hayes Memorial Innovation Center, Harmony suggested from her seat. specializing in cardiac care research. Perfect. I clicked to the final slide. And we'll fund it with every penny Nolan stole from the medical fund, plus interest. The board meeting concluded with unanimous approval. One by one, members came to shake my hand, their respect no longer grudging but earned. Esther was last to leave. "Your father built this company on innovation," she said, "but you'll rebuild it on justice. That's something even he couldn't do." In my office later, I found Daniel waiting with a small box. "Found this in the legal archives," he said. "Thought you should have it." Inside was Dad's original business plan, handwritten on yellow legal pad paper. His dreams for the company, sketched out decades ago. He wanted to change the world, Daniel said quietly. "Now you can finish what he started." I set the box on Dad's desk. "My desk now. Thank you. Now please leave." After everyone was gone, I stood at the window, watching the city lights come on. Dad used to do this every evening, planning tomorrow's battles. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Amara. "Police just called. Nolan's talking. Says he has dirt on half the tech industry." I smiled at my reflection in the darkened glass. "Good," I texted back. "Let him sing. Time to show them all what a Viper can really do." The Richard Hayes Memorial Innovation Center opened on what would have been Dad's birthday. I stood at the podium, facing a crowd of reporters, employees, and board members. "My father believed in changing lives," I said, gripping the edges of the podium. "Today, we're announcing full funding for 3 experimental cardiac treatments, the same treatments that could have saved him." In the front row, Harmony wiped away tears. Beside her, Amara gave me a subtle thumbs up. After the ceremony, Esther found me in the new research wing. Quite a statement, putting this in the building where Nolan's office used to be. Seemed fitting. I watched researchers already setting up their equipment. "How's the board taking the restructuring?" "They're adapting. Amazing how cooperative people become when they've seen what happens to those who aren't." My phone buzzed. A voicemail notification from an unknown number. "Nolan, probably, trying to reach me from prison again." "Still not taking his calls?" Esther asked. "He lost the right to my time when he stole Dad's chance at life." She nodded toward the entrance, where Daniel stood awkwardly. "And him?" "Same story, different betrayal." Daniel approached anyway. "Impressive speech. The press is eating it up." "That's why you're here? Press coverage?" "No." He handed me an envelope. "This came to the firm. Thought you should see it privately." Inside was a letter from a major shareholder group. They'd been quietly buying stock, preparing for a takeover attempt. I laughed. "Let me guess. They think I'm vulnerable, now that the dust has settled." "They don't know you very well," Daniel said quietly. "No," I agreed. "They don't." I pulled out my phone, dialed Amara. "Remember that contingency plan we discussed? Time to activate it." Esther raised an eyebrow. "Another battle so soon." "Dad's first rule of business. Never let them see you rest." I turned to Daniel. "Thank you for the warning. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a company to protect." "Jill," he called as I walked away. "For what it's worth, I was wrong about you, about everything." I didn't turn back. "Yes, you were. In my office, no longer Dad's office, but truly mine now." Harmony waited with fresh coffee and a knowing smile. "Saw the shareholders' letter," she said. "Ready for round 2? They think I'm finished, that taking down Nolan was my endgame." I sat at my desk, opened my laptop. "They forget who taught me to play chess. Richard always said you were 3 moves ahead." Speaking of moves, I pulled up a document. "How would you like to be permanent CEO? I need someone I trust running daily operations while I focus on the bigger picture." Her eyes widened. "Are you sure? Dad trusted you, so do I." I smiled. "Besides, I have other plans." My phone buzzed again. "Amara, you were right. Found their weak spots, ready when you are." A knock at the door interrupted us. A young researcher from the new lab stood nervously in the doorway. "Ms. Hayes, we've had a breakthrough in the cardiac treatment trials. The results, They're better than we hoped. I thought of Dad, of how he'd light up talking about innovation and possibility, about changing lives. Show me, I said, standing. Later that night, I stood at my office window, just like Dad used to. The Innovation Center glowed below. Researchers working late, pushing boundaries, saving lives. My phone lit up one last time. A text from Esther. They're coming for you, but this time they'll see you coming. I smiled at my reflection, at the woman I'd become. Not just Dad's daughter anymore, not just the revenge CEO. Something new, something stronger. Let them come, I whispered to the city lights. I'm not finished yet. Behind me, Dad's old pocket watch ticked steadily on my desk, counting down to whatever came next. I was ready. After all, he'd taught me well. Legacy isn't what you inherit. It's what you build from the ashes of what you've burned.